Hi, and welcome to Lecture 8. In this lecture, we'll talk about ranges, what ranges are and how they are useful in Ruby. So ranges are essentially just data type, they're type in Ruby that are used to express natural consecutive sequences. So for example, you want to express 1 through 20 or A through Z, you could do that using ranges. And really there are two rules to keep in mind. If there are two dots in between the sequences that in between the beginning and end that you're trying to express, so for example 1 and 10, two dots means all inclusive. 1 is included, 10 is included, and obviously all the numbers in between are included. If there are three dots means end exclusive. So 1 is included, 1 through 9 are included, but 10 is not included. In my mind, I always confuse them, so the way I remember them is that the more dots you have, the less you have at the end, which is kind of counterintuitive, but that's just how I remember them. So 2 dots is all inclusive, and 3 dots is last one not included. What's so special about ranges? I mean, can't we do this already using arrays? Well, first of all, they are very easy to create. You just need the first and the last part of a sequence, of a consecutive sequence. But number two, which is more important, they are very efficient. You're only storing the start and the end, and Ruby knows what to do with the rest of it. So let's say you have a sequence of 1,000,000 numbers from 1 to 1,000,000. You're not going to be storing 1,000,000 elements of your array in memory. You're just going to store the first number and the last number, which is great. Now, if you do need more methods out of this range that you're creating, you could always convert it to an array by calling to_a method on the range, and boom, now you have a full-blown array, and you could do whatever you could do with arrays, which we covered in the previous lecture. And another thing that ranges are used for, and probably what they are most used for, are conditions and intervals, as we'll see in a minute. So let's say you have some range from 1 to 3 and 2 dots, so it's all inclusive. 1 is included, 3 is included, and obviously 2 is included. So let's see what methods can you call in the ranges. You could call a max to see what the max element. You could call include and say, does this range include 2? Sure, it does. Now, here's our little friend, the triple equals. So there's the range of 1 through 10, really 1 through 9 because it's 1 through 10 exclusive. Does that include 5.3? Sure, it does. Does the range of A through R exclusive, does that include R? It does not because it's end exclusive, because there are 3 dots here. It does not include R. Now, here's the converting to the array that I was talking about. Grab a sequence from K to Z and then convert it to an array and pull out 2 elements. So you could see how in one line of code we have something that creates 2 random elements, an array of 2 random elements from K to Z, which is useful. And this is just an example in the context of how you use the ranges in a case statement. So let's say you have age variable, which is 55, and you have a case flavor that says case age, where age is right next to the case. And you have when a range of 0 through 12, and remember that the case statement uses the triple equals by default, and then puts whatever you want to put there. So the condition and then the result, and so on. You could have else in there, obviously, as well. And that's how ranges work. Okay, so ranges are useful for consecutive sequences. That's what you use them for. You create them by specifying the beginning and the end of a consecutive sequence. And you could convert them, a range to an array for more functionality if you need to exercise more functionality on what you're creating. Next, we'll talk about hashes, which in some other languages might be known as dictionaries or maps or whatever.